Welcome back to the video, and in today's video, we're ranking every single fruit. I know I've been doing a lot of NFL and NBA content, but the NFL is in the offseason, the NBA is in the offseason, so we might as well do something a little bit different, and if you guys like these kind of videos, I will keep doing them, because right now we don't have a lot of content to make, because the NFL and the NBA, as I said, are in the offseason. So today I'm going to be doing the fruit tier list. We have a bunch of fruits. Probably won't be able to explain too much about each fruit. I'm just going to give you guys my opinion on if I like them or not, because there's a ton of fruits here. Here's the tiers that you can see above. We have S tier fruits, the A tier fruits, the B tier, the C tier, the D tier, the F tier, and the I've never had this before tier. Just the tiers that fruits I've never had before. Pretty self-explanatory. Before we end the video, please be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new and you like the content, and also comment down below where you would put in these fruits yourself. It's kind of crazy the growth that we've been having on this channel. I mean, we have gained 100 subscribers in 2 days, which for my YouTube channel is absolutely absurd. Thank you guys so much for loving this kind of content, and I'm going to keep making it as long as you guys keep liking it. Let's get it going, because we got a lot of fruits to go through, so the intro can't be too long. And the first fruit we are rating is the green apple. I know a lot of people like this apple. I just think it's kind of a C tier. I'm sorry, it's not. I really do like apples. It's just not my favorite apple. It feels very, very sour. Sometimes it's a little too chewy. Sometimes it's a little too crunchy. I do like it, and I think every single apple is a good apple. It's just not my favorite type of apple. And that's because we have the red apple. The red apple is going to go into S tier. I love the red apple. The Fiji apples, there's a bunch of names to them, honestly. There's so many names of the apples. I don't even know all the names, but red apples are fantastic. You get the sourness, but you don't get as much sourness as the green one. It's a good like value of sourness, and also just the freshness of the red apple is amazing. S tier for the red apple. Next up, we have the apricot. I used to like these as a kid. I don't really have them anymore. I'm probably gonna put this in D tier. Like, it kind of reminds me a lot about like a nectarine, or a orange, or a peach. And I think all those other ones are just a little bit better than apricots. They're just not that good. Next, we have the avocado. Now, this is interesting because if you think about it as a fruit, I actually really don't like avocados, but if you're thinking about it as like guacamole, I really do like guacamole. So it's kind of hard to rank it because there's so many different forms, there's so many different ways you could put it, but I do not like avocado by itself. I'm going to put this in C tier, and I'll also rank these. I think green apple is better than avocado. I like avocado when it's on other things. I don't like it by itself, in my opinion. Next up, we have the banana. So, if you guys didn't know, I'm a runner, so I do use bananas a lot for potassium for my cramps. So, it is pretty valuable for me. I do eat them a lot. We're gonna put them in A tier. I do like bananas a lot. I like the flavor of them. They're nice. The only problem is they sometimes get a little mushy, and you have to eat them at the perfect time because they'll be a little bit too ripe, or they'll get really, really brown, and that's disgusting as well. If you get a brown, mushy banana, that is a banana you want to avoid. So A tier, because they have a couple of flaws, but they're still really good. Next up, we have the blackberry. This is interesting. I think raspberries are better than blackberries, but blackberries are still not bad. I would put them in B tier. I think they're solid. Sometimes the texture is a little bit weird of blackberries, but I still like the blackberry. Not bad. It's just not better than raspberry. Next up, we have the black currant. This is one of the ones I never had. Kind of looks like a blueberry. I don't really know what it is, though, in my opinion. Comment down below what it tastes like, because I do not know at all. Next up, we have the blueberry. Now, I might need to die on this hill. I think blueberry is one of the most overrated fruits in this planet. I'm not going to put it in F tier because you'll see the F tiers coming up. But blueberries are a D tier. It's not that good. They're very, very overrated because they're small and they're really sour. And sometimes, just like the bananas, you'll get some mushy ones, you'll get some insanely small ones. They don't fill you up enough, and I don't like the quadrant size of it. So D tier. I don't really like blueberries, and I'd put apricots over them. I think blueberries might be one of the most overrated fruits in the world. Next up, we have the cantaloupe. I think cantaloupe might be one of the most underrated fruits, in my opinion, because it is so good. I love the cantaloupe. I'm putting this in A tier. It's so close to S tier. I put it next to banana. People, the one flaw about cantaloupe that they say is that there's no taste, that they only taste water. I'll tell you what tastes water, and we'll get on to that later. But cantaloupe has such a good taste. Yeah, it's a little bit mellow, but I still like it that way, man. If you can get a good cantaloupe, it still has a ton of flavor, tastes amazing. You can see that based on when I don't like when things are too sour or too sweet. I kind of like that just in the middle, and cantaloupe brings me that. Next up, we have the coconut, F tier. I don't really care about coconuts. Like, coconut juice is overrated. Coconuts by itself's not good. Coconut ice cream's horrible. So yeah, F tier. And maybe some people do like it. I don't like almond joys to begin with, and then I think it has coconut for the candy. It's not that good in my opinion. Next up, we have the cherry. The thing is, I don't really have cherries that much stuff. It's on like a sundae, ice cream sundae, and I have it on the top. It's not that good. It's probably just a D tier, like top of D tier. It's not bad. I guess it's sweet, but yeah, I don't really have an occasion where I'm really craving cherries to have every single day. So D tier for cherries. Next up, we have the cranberry. I don't mind them. I like them when they're dry cranberries. When they're fresh, I don't like them as much. I will put them in C2 though, because I do like dry cranberry. I'll put them ahead of avocado, not quite ahead of green apple though. But yeah, cranberries, they're just fine. They're not anything special. They're like a better version of blueberries. Next up, we have the date, F tier. If you like a date, then you must be an 80-year-old grandpa. Dates are horrible. They're awful. F tier. Don't even need to look at it. Let's move on. Next up, we have the dragon fruit. Another fruit I've actually never had. I do want to try it. It looks really cool, but I've actually never had a dragon fruit. But I do desperately want to try it because I've heard some good things about it. Next up, we have the durian. So I've never had this before, but here's what I will say. I'm going to put it in an F because of a couple reasons. So first of all, I've heard that it's the worst smelling fruit ever. It tastes like the mix of a rotten egg and throw up. And also, it smells kind of like cheese. And if it's a bad cheese smell, I hate Gouda. If I smell Gouda, I will immediately gag. I don't know what it is. There's some cheeses that do bomb, like provolone or cheddar or pepper jack. I don't mozzarella, parmesan. There's some cheeses that are horrible, like the Gouda, like the American cheese. I do not like durian. Even though I never had it before, I can already tell it's gonna be a fruit that I'm never gonna want to try. Apparently, it smells horrible, which I can't deal with smells that easily. So F tier for durian. Next up, we have the fig. Sometimes fig Newtons are decent, but I'm still gonna put them in D tier. I'll put them at the top of it because I do like fig Newtons or like Nutrigrain bars, but I don't really love figs by itself as the actual fruit. It's kind of overrated. Next up, we have the gooseberry. I've never had it before. It looks like a grape, but I've never had it before, so I can't rate it. Next up, we have the grapefruit. I've had this one time. It was super sweet. It was super sour. It tasted not bad though. I'll give it B tier because I didn't mind the taste of it. It just felt like a lot. It felt like a little bit too much for me. I still liked it though. Next up, we're on to the grapes. We have the red grapes and the white grapes. That's not even white. Those are green grapes, but they classify them as white grapes. I'm not a big fan of grapes. I'm not. I think, in my opinion, the white grapes are the best grapes, or the green grapes. The red grapes, I'm gonna put them in bottom of C tier. The white grapes, I'll put them in the bottom of B tier. I'm not a big grape fan. Again, I think it's too small of a portion for me, but I still don't mind the grapes. Grapes gonna go in B tier and C tier. Next up, we have the kiwi. I barely had this fruit and I haven't really vibed with it. The only problem with the kiwi is like the texture is very, very weird. I'm not a big fan of kiwi. I'll probably put them at the bottom of D tier. It's just not my preferred taste. Next up, we have the plum. The plum is one of the most underrated fruits in my opinion, because it's like a better version of a peach. Now, here's the problem with plums: is I can't put it S tier because I don't have them enough. But when I have them, they're so amazing. Because a peach, we'll go on to peach. It has some weird texture with the peach. The plum is a good texture. It tastes amazing. It has a ton of flavor. It tastes like candy. So A tier for plum. I will put them S tier, but I don't have them enough where I can put them S tier. Next up, we have the lemon. I'm putting lemon in S tier. It is there's so much things you could do with the lemon. You can make lemonade. You can make lemon juice. You can have them as a fruit. You could put them as like a dressing on the side of like a salad. You can do so much with the lemon. It's so good. I like the sweetness of it. S tier. The lime, it's like the baby brother of lemon. It's still good. I actually do like lime. I'm gonna put it in A tier near the bottom of it. Again, it's still useful. It's just I will choose lemon over lime every time. Next up with the lychee. Again, I've heard about this. I've never had it before. It looks interesting. I'm gonna put it in. I've never had it before. Next up with the mango. You saw it from the thumbnail. The mango is my absolute favorite fruit in this whole world. Oh my goodness, it is so incredibly good. I literally eat mango pretty much once a day. Every single time I have a spoonful of mango, like a can of mango, every single day. If you can buy this in the right time, in the right season, around like April, it is one of the best tasting fruits you'll ever see. It's the perfect amount of sweetness and sourness. It's the perfect texture, and it's packed with flavor. Mango is without a doubt the best fruit in my opinion. Next up, we have the nectarine. So this is kind of like what's the other one called? Wow, I'm forgetting the other. We just saw it. It was the apricot, the nectarine. I think the nectarine's a little better, but I don't think it's that good. I'm just gonna put it at the bottom of the C tier. It's not that good, but I will always take it over an apricot. But very very similar taste, just a little bit different. I like the nectarine a little bit more. Next up, we have the orange. Again, this is a weird one. I think oranges are one of the most overrated fruits. You can get the seeds in them. They're very inconsistent, but I will put it in B tier at the bottom of it because I do still have oranges a lot, even if I don't feel like I do, whether it's orange juice or just having like some not seasoning, but you know what I mean, dressing with oranges. And it's not bad if you taste it. It's just there's a lot of inconsistency with the orange. Next up, we have the papaya. I don't really, I've never had it before. I don't think I can't think of a time. It seems like a familiar name. I just don't think I've ever had it before. Passion fruit, same thing. Again, a fruit I've definitely heard of. It's just something I've never tried. Next up, we have the peach. So, like I said about the plum, the peach is going to be put into B tier, high B tier, because I still do like it. There's a couple of problems with the peach, though. First of all, the texture is very, very interesting. And also, in the middle, like, where like the actual seed is, you can kind of get that extra texture from the seed, even if you get rid of the seed, where you'll still taste that like hard texture, and it does not taste good one bit. Peaches are super, super good. They're just quite inconsistent, so B tier for peaches. Next up, we have the pear. Pears, they're simple, they're nice, they're effective. I think they're a better version of a green apple, but I don't think they're that good. I haven't really had pears in a while, but I did crave pears for a while ago, like a year ago. So I'd put pears and B tier, probably around the middle of it in that blackberry range. It's not bad, it's solid. I wish there was just a little bit more flavor in the pear. Next will be the persimmon. I've never had a persimmon before, unfortunately. Next up, we have the pineapple. This is kind of interesting because I think pineapple is really, really good flavor wise, but the fruit itself, the texture of it, I hate. I hate the pineapple texture. I'm gonna put them at top of C tier because I do like pineapple juice. I like pineapple you know what I mean? Like I like pineapple like the juice of it, not the texture of the actual fruit though. And it's a pain to like try to like cut and stuff like that. So C tier for the pineapple. Pomegranate, it's a D tier. It's probably the bottom of D tier. It's not bad. It's just not good at all. I think it's a worse version of a cherry, and I don't like it at all. Pomegranate D tier. Next up, we have the pomelo. I've never heard of this, unfortunately. Next up, we have the raspberry. So, like I said about the blackberry is a weird texture. The raspberry still has that weird texture, but it's actually a good type of texture. I really, really enjoy raspberries. They're going to go into an easy S tier, probably ahead of lemon, and I think I have them a little more than red apple. Obviously, not ahead of mango. That's my favorite fruit. But raspberries are really, really, really good. Really good juice. It's like a better version of a blackberry. And it doesn't have that weird texture thing. It tastes really good. The flavor pops out. Raspberries are great. S tier as long as you can find them in the right season again. Next we have the red currant. If I haven't had a black currant, I would never have a red currant. So, whatever. Starfruit, another one I haven't had. Maybe you guys are like being mad at me that I never had these fruits. I just haven't had these fruits, unfortunately. Next up, we have the strawberry. This is interesting because when strawberries are fresh, they're one of the best tasting things ever. But also they're very inconsistent. But I'm still gonna put them A tier. I'd put them ahead of lime. I put them ahead of banana. I would not put them ahead of plum. But I still do like strawberries. I think a fresh strawberry is amazing, but they're inconsistent, and you never know which strawberry you're gonna get. Next up, we have the tangerine. It's a worse version of a. Actually, it's kind of a similar version of an orange, and honestly, don't really taste a difference ever. So I'm just gonna put them in the same category. Next, for the watermelon, you saw from the thumbnail, I think watermelon is the most overrated fruit ever. I'll put it on the top of it because I know people like it. Here's the reason why I think it's overrated. One, the seeds. The seeds are not fun to deal with. Two, cutting up. Cutting up is not good. The process to get watermelon is not good. It's not worth it at all. And second, and third, and this is the most important thing, it's a bunch of water and a tiny bit of melon. There is absolutely no flavor in watermelon, and that's why I think it's overrated. If you thought a cantaloupe had no flavor, the watermelon has no flavor, even if it looks like it has flavor. The only thing I do like about watermelon is the juice, and like if it was like Sour Patch Kids watermelon, I do like that. But as a fruit itself, it's F tier. Next will be the honeydew. It's a worse version of a cantaloupe. I think it's the definition of a C tier. It's probably at the bottom of it. It's just average. It's the epitome of average. There's no flavor with it, but it's not bad. It has a little bit of a flavor, but it's a better version of a watermelon, and it's a worse version of a cantaloupe. Next up, we have the Asian pear. I've actually never had an Asian pear. I've had pears. I never had an Asian one though, so I have to be honest. I mean, it probably tastes similar, but I've never had one, so I can't rate it similarly. Next up, we have the guava. I like guava juice. I don't like guava fruit though. I'm gonna put it in C tier, probably in like the middle range around this avocado range. It's not bad. I do like guava. It's just I don't like the fruit of it. I think the texture is a bit weird and the flavor is not there for me. It's not my preferred taste of flavor. Next up, we have the blood orange. It's kind of scary. It's similar to a grapefruit, and I'm gonna put it around the same category. I think it's a better version of an orange, but it's sometimes a little sour. But honestly, the orange needs something else there, so I'm totally down to put a little bit more sourness in it. That's why I'll put it higher than the orange. But it's kind of quite similar to a grapefruit. It's just fine. Next up, we have the custard apple. I've never had this, unfortunately. The ground cherry, I've never had it. Kumquat, they're the definition of an F tier, I think. I think they're probably right there. The kumquats aren't good. I'll put them D tier because I know people like them again. I'll give them some respect to the people because people do like them. I just don't like them. I think they're very, very overrated. So D for kumquats. Next would be the mulberry. It looks similar to a blackberry, and I've heard of it, never had it. The raisins. Now this is interesting. Raisins are quite hit or miss, but you can get the yogurt cover raisins, you get the chocolate raisins. Raisins by itself, though, is probably like a bottom of C type thing. I don't mind them, but they don't have enough flavor. But if they can be covered with like the yogurt raisins are amazing. If you can find those yogurt raisins or chocolate raisins are amazing. Next up, we have the jackfruit. Never had it, unfortunately. The mangosteen, never had it. Rambutan, never had it. And I'll just say that the white currant, I've never had it. And the sour cherry is gonna end it off. I don't really have any. Cherries are kind of similar, whatever way you put it. So I'll put an extra cherry. And that's me ranking every single fruit. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Comment down below where you would have put these fruits. That is my list. Hope you agree or disagree with this list. I don't really care. Give me your opinions in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.